Welcome to this explainer. I am just incredibly thrilled to have you here today because we're looking at something that absolutely fascinates me. We usually think building a social network is just, well, writing some code and launching a website, right? But honestly, it's a monumental feat of digital engineering mixed heavily with human psychology. Actually, scratch that. It's not even like building software. It's way more like urban planning. Today, we're going to learn exactly how to architect a digital society from the ground up, drawing on some really fantastic source material. To really grasp the stakes here, we have to talk about the painful reality most founders face on launch day. Imagine launching your platform, and you walk into a digital desert. You put it out there, and nothing. Crickets. It's this vast, empty landscape of silent notification bells and totally stagnant user counts. It's the dreaded empty room. But our ultimate goal? A bustling metropolis. We want off-the-charts engagement, super active citizens, and a vibrant community where connections are just constantly sparking. Navigating that exact journey from a completely barren desert to a thriving metropolis is what we're mapping out today. Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a 5-phase blueprint to get us there. Phase 1, surviving the digital desert. 2, building the town hall. 3, the infrastructure of engagement. 4, scaling with link spread solutions. And finally, Phase 5, achieving the metropolis milestone. Phase 1, surviving the digital desert. Okay, so this first phase, it's all about foundational fixes. Because before you start worrying about traffic jams in your new city, you need a solid reason for just one single person to visit and actually pitch a tent. The absolute bedrock here is what's called the single player value proposition, meaning your network has to be incredibly useful even when a user is totally alone. Before your community, you absolutely need utility. Think about Instagram for a second. Before it was this massive social media giant, it was literally just a photo filtering tool. People showed up just to make their pictures look cooler. Eventually, as more folks piled in, they stuck around for the community. You have to give people value, even if literally no one else is online yet. And the reason that single-player value is just so absolutely critical is because it solves that infamous chicken and egg problem. You know the one. Your platform needs users to create content, but new users will immediately bounce if they show up and the place is totally empty. So how do we fix this initial barrenness? Well, the source material gives us 2 killer strategies. First is personal dashboarding, giving people private storage or organization tools that are valuable all on their own, no social feed required. Second is the ghost content strategy. This is where you populate the platform yourself with highly curated content, or even AI-generated interest feeds. That way, the very first impression a new user gets is never ever an empty room. Phase 2, building the town hall. All right, so you've got a few people hanging around for the utility. Now, you need culture. A digital metropolis is defined by its culture, just like a real city. And in those early days, that vibe is a direct reflection of its founders. As the chief architect, you and your core team have to lead by example. You literally need to be the most active, helpful users on the whole site. And there are 3 steps to doing this right. First, the concierge treatment. We're talking replying to every single comment within minutes. Treat every new user like a VIP at an exclusive party. Sure, it doesn't scale, but man, does it build absolute loyalty. Second, set up curated content pillars. Don't just sit back waiting for people to post. Drive the conversation. Set up daily themes or challenges to actively prompt participation. And third, you really got to focus on niche density. And this brilliantly illustrates why density matters. A tightly packed, small niche feels like a huge crowd, but sparsity in a massive market, that just feels like a desert. Do not try to be the Facebook for everyone right out of the gate. You'll just spread yourself way too thin. Instead, be the ultimate metropolis for indie game devs, or the #1 hub for sustainable fashion. If you capture a small niche tightly, it feels incredibly crowded, bustling, and alive to everybody inside it. Phase 3, the infrastructure of engagement. Okay, so you've got this great culture going, and you've got your dense little crowd. Now, to keep them sticking around, you've got to build the roads. You have to automate your engagement loops. You can't just do it manually forever. Your digital infrastructure needs to hum with activity all on its own. This is where the psychology of interaction kicks in. First up, smart notification logic. We have to move way past generic alerts like user X liked your post. Instead, use aggregation to notify people about things they actually care deeply about. Next is gamification and status. Look, humans are status-seeking animals, right? Reward good citizenship. Give out badges, reputation scores, or founding member titles to encourage people to actually contribute, rather than just lurk. And finally, fine-tune the algorithm of connection. Your suggested friends or related topics should actively engineer serendipity, sparking new connections, not just reinforcing old ones. Phase 4. Scaling with link spread solutions. Every growing city eventually needs a highway system to bring in new residents from the outside world. This is that critical stage where your organic growth absolutely has to meet professional growth marketing acceleration. So the big question for you as the architect is, how do you open the city gates? You've built the streets, the buildings are up, the culture is buzzing, but your future users are out there, hiding on the wider web. Transforming that initial traction into a massive city requires some serious professional tools. So the crucial point is, this is where partnering with a firm like Linkspread Solutions gives you a massive structural advantage. They essentially become your external highway engineers. First, through strategic visibility and SEO, they literally bridge your platform to search engines and other social channels where your future users are actively hanging out. Second, conversion optimization. Growth experts will analyze your onboarding flow to find exactly where potential citizens are dropping off, and they smooth out that friction so visitors seamlessly become permanent residents. And third, growth hacking and viral loops. Firms like Linkspreads help design systems, think viral rewards or invite-only mechanics, that turn your current user base into a massive recruitment engine for the expanding metropolis. Phase 5. Achieving the metropolis milestone. If you build those highways correctly, you hit this thrilling tipping point. The network effect takes over. Every new user adds exponential value for every existing user, and suddenly the city starts growing itself. But as you scale, I want to interrupt with this incredibly powerful number, 10 times. It is literally 10 times cheaper to keep a resident than it is to find a new one. As you hit this milestone, your focus has to shift massively toward retention over acquisition. Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is how it fundamentally changes our entire definition of success. Think about it. A true city? That's 100 users logging in every single day. A desert? That's 10,000 users logging in once a month. High-density, daily retention is what makes a metropolis feel alive. Vanity acquisition metrics, like celebrating 10,000 signups who never actually come back, just leaves you holding the keys to a massive ghost town. Deep engagement is literally everything. So how do you actually maintain this bustling city at scale? Well, your role as the founder has to shift from promoter to governor. And you pull this off with two main strategies. First, decentralized moderation. You simply can't moderate everything yourself anymore. Instead, you empower your most loyal users with moderator tools. The result? The community inherently protects its own culture. Second is the FOMO effect. By cultivating a vibrant, exclusive inner circle, you create this natural magnetism. Outsiders experience an intense fear of missing out, and they are practically driven to join. To wrap up this architectural master plan, the source material leaves us with a few final pro tips for the long haul. First up, iterate or die. Listen to your early users like they are your board of directors. If they want a feature, build it, and build it fast. Second, avoid feature bloat. Do not build complex city infrastructure before you have the population to actually support it. Start lean, stay fast. And third, trust the experts. Let professional growth partners like Linkspreads handle the complex machinery of global visibility. That way, you can focus entirely on what matters most, the community itself. Because at the end of the day, a successful network is fundamentally about human relationships and shared experiences. The world really doesn't need just another piece of software. It needs a better place to belong. So, equipped with this blueprint, I'll leave you with this provocative question. What kind of society are you going to build? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope you feel super energized to go out there and make your digital desert bloom. Catch you next time.